Well, would you look at that? They're coming in fast and furiously. Yesterday, we talked about, what was that, Variety's first salvo in the box office conversation. Now we have the Hollywood Reporter weighing in with the summer box office is quickly turning south. Early hopes that grosses could top $4 billion this season fizzled as insiders bemoan a lack of tentpoles. Well, yeah, because you take a look at the ones that are there, and yeah, Jurassic World, it ended up performing as well as people anticipated it would, at least in comparison to the other competition, but yeah, it ended up coming up short, because I was certain, so was everybody else, that yeah, okay, the rest of the stupid Dinosaur movies would make $1 billion and had made $1 billion. What would be the difference this time around? Well, apparently it's patently obvious, at least to some insiders as well, but we'll get to that very shortly. And then as for the Fantastic Four, making the Fantastic Four led by the Invisible Woman come in, and you know, the Invisible Woman can't even conjure up $500 million. Interesting. And then, of course, Super Bitch. What is it? All the speculation. Oh, guys, don't worry. Friday's the day. Friday's when it's going to cross $600 million. Fantastic. You're still not making money on that. But that's fine, because all of Gunn's gooners out there, yeah, they'll just go ahead and fucking sweep for that idiot until the Superman 2 comes out and goes, gee, that wasn't very good. Oh, maybe, you know, maybe Superman wasn't great after all. But nobody will talk about Peacemaker Season 2, because is anybody actually going to watch that shit? Yeah, I didn't think so. But yeah, now that there is nothing out there, okay, now that, you know, Hollywood has blew its load, and for the next, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, whenever, you know, Tron Ares, a franchise that is historically not made money at the box office, comes out, that's what they're hinging their hopes hitching their hopes on. A Jared Leto Tronless Tron sequel, threequel. Are you having a laugh? So now, well, Hollywood and all of the studios, they're going to have a lot of time on their hands. You can see, you know, we've talked about it, or we will talk about it. I've already talked about it, but you guys will see the video that I have on it over the weekend about Paramount signing everybody who's not nailed down, because they kind of have a formula over there, and they kind of want to buck recent trends within their own halls, as well as, you know, throughout the wider industry. So yeah, they're looking in a certain direction, because they realize that, yeah, over the past 10, 15, even though I would argue this goes all the way back to the, honestly, like 60s, but, you know, if we just want to keep this concise, but it really started off in, like, I would say the 90s, but it has become too obvious to ignore how Hollywood has demonized the male, to be particular and to be straight up with you, the white male, the straight white male. And so why Hollywood is searching for answers, Disney has come to the conclusion that Disney's a boy trouble. Studio seeks original IPs to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel and Lucasfilm struggles. Gee, I wonder why you spend the past, at least overtly, past 20 years demonizing and making men the villain in everything, specifically straight white ones. Like, I mean, you go to the tent poles from July, okay, who was the big bad in Fantastic Four? Galactus, and then you had his bitch servant out there, the female Silver Surfer. And what was the hype in the lead up to that movie? Well, the Silver Surfer sure looks stupid in one of those trailers. Wow, Doug Jones back in the cut looks way better, because yeah, the Silver Surfer is a man. The Fantastic Four is led by Sue Storm. Pedro the bitch Pascal can't muster a masculine performance if his fucking life depends on it. Superman, crying, emotional outbursts. Who's the big bad in that one? Lex Luthor. Didn't want to race change him, now did ya? The list goes on and on. We talked about it earlier in the day. Who was to kick off Marvel Phase 4 when they were still riding high? Who was the big bad? Big old Ray Winston playing a straight white Russian. But if he would have had his way on the first draft of the script, well, straight might have been a little bit of a misnomer, because he wanted to take a little walk on the wild side, but I digress. But that's just simply Marvel. Do we even need to look over at Lucasfilm? Like, when was the last time there was an actual male lead character that wasn't cucked by any one of his co-stars? The sequel trilogy, fuck off, doesn't even enter the conversation. And you killed off and emasculated your straight white lead after, you know, you made him suck on an alien titty, and then you have him overdose on the Force to fucking shuffle him out of the franchise. But then again, you know, he's kind of used to being shuffled off stage after he's had a little bit too much to drink. The Acolyte earlier this week celebrated its 1-year cancelversary. Obi-Wan. Oh, you mean the Reva story? Oh, okay, Book of Boba Fett. Oh, the story about how he got kidnapped by Tuscan raiders and beaten to submission, and then he had to go through, what, 2 or 3 episodes of this fucking Stockholm Syndrome, hunting down and killing innocent bikers when it was all said and done. And oh yeah, Fennec Shand was the most competent person on his team. Funny thing about that. But Mandalorian, hey man, the Mandalorian, that's the Disney's most, Lucasfilm's most successful thing, right? Oh right, season 3 where he gets cucked and supplanted by Bo-Katan. Interesting, huh? So yeah, why does Disney have a boy trouble? Because they're open misandrists. But yo, this article is fucking wild. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months. Multiple sources tell Variety that movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men, as defined here, yes, from the sources, 13 to 28-year-old Gen Zers. Oh, great, so I had to wade through all this shit, and they don't even want to lump me in their group. Interesting. First, yes, every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Well, if you've been following my channel for long enough, and tomorrow is my 5-year anniversary, oh my god, happy birthday to me, or channel, or, god, all that shit's gay, but anyways, there's a little article called The Rise of the She-Economy, and we are eerily getting close to 2030 when a majority of women are going to be single and childless in their childbearing years, but also they are the ones in control of the purse strings overwhelmingly. What is the big takeaway from that one? Long story short, 80 to 90%, I think it's closer to 90, but I'll just say 80 to be safe. 80% of household decisions are made by women. So why is it that every advertisement, why is it that every movie ostensibly caters to women? Because A, they're more pliable when it comes to advertising, and B, they got the fucking cash when it's all said and done. So yes, when you are simply taught to assess the market through a lens of identity politics, this is what you arrive at. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are a lonely, gaming obsessed group. Okay, cool. So you just come out and insult the audience that you want to bring on. Fantastic. Who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns. Oh my fucking god. 18 months. 18 months defines an entire generation. Yeah, cool. But yeah, they're lonely and gaming obsessed. Okay, cool. And then you take a look at all of those video game adaptations and all of them fucking stink. Or even if they're decent, they don't have a strong male lead. Like, I'll take people's word on the first season of The Last of Us being pretty good. What was the big takeaway? Episode 3 was about, Bill and his gay romance, and then Pedro Pascal. Like, oh, okay, cool. Why on God's green earth would guys want anything to do with the Halo show? Or hey, even if they are gaming obsessed, do you like the Fallout show? Okay, cool. You got bug-eyed Ella Purnell. She's a badass who's just going to go ahead and traverse, the wasteland with a whole bunch of raiders and unreputable individuals. Yeah, make that one fucking make sense. Good luck on season 2. I'm sure that's going to suck ass through a straw. But yes, because, the formative years were, stuck, locked down during COVID-19. They're not the easiest segment to grasp. Yeah, because their formative years were lonely and at home. So why could you possibly get a foothold with people's entertainment when they were locked at home and lonely and had nothing else? It makes no fucking sense. This is why you guys are so fucking lost. But what's surprising producers, writers, and other partners in the larger industry is that Disney has been calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies. But here's the thing, man. Like, I grew up with Disney movies. Well, I grew up during the best Disney time, the Disney Renaissance. And yeah, you had your Lion Kings, you had your Aladdins, my personal favorite, you had your Hercules. But now, with the exception of Hercules, but oh boy, that one's coming, you got all of your quote-unquote, well, especially quote-unquote with the live action Lion King. But all of those retread movies, what ends up happening? All right, the women are put in positions of power and the guys' contributions are just relegated off to the side. So yes, you want original concepts? Well, the people that you have writing it kind of have a skill issue, so it's a bit of a problem. This is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have sated men of all ages for almost 2 decades. I fucking beg your pardon? Marvel has sucked dick through a straw, but now people are finally coming around to it going, gee, phases 4 and 5 weren't very good, even though they were, lapping all that crap up. And yeah, Lucasfilm, yeah, it's sucked ass since 2012. There hasn't been a good Star Wars film since the fucking 80s. But anyways, sources say Disney has been seeking new IP and pitches, such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fare like films for the Halloween corridor. Yeah, you're doing the exact same shit you were doing back when you thought you could just buy a male fan base with Marvel and Lucasfilm. cool, gonna work out well for you. You're not learning from any of your problems from the past, and you're instead doomed to repeat them. Hence why your next Marvel movie is Doomsday. The calls come as Star Wars machine, yes, struggles to produce any films, any competent shows, any decent cartoons. But hey, we could just go ahead and key jangle. Ooh, Maul Shadow Lord, you guys like that one? And Ahsoka. Oh, you guys like the cringe orange lady who just crosses her arms all the time. But don't worry, Ezra's gonna be great because he wants to fight to get his quote-unquote sister Sabine back to the galaxy. Oh, whatever, man. Well, the two insiders say that the mandate to recruit a young males goes as high as the C-suite. The task primarily has fallen to David Greenbaum, the former Searchlight Pictures co-head brought in 2024 to run Disney's live-action film business. The label has been sorely lacking in guy-leaning fare like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but we might talk about that next week. But now it's been confirmed that 6 is in development. Orlando Bloom has been saying a couple of things, and yeah, let's just say that it could either be that our worst fears are confirmed, or they don't even know, or they're so early on in development that they don't even know what the hell we're doing. The studio insiders say the property is in active development, though it's not the last reported iteration involving Margot Robbie. No, that one's been like years ago at this point in time. Keep up with this shit. They say it has nothing to do with a lackluster attempt to reboot and hand off Indiana Jones in 2023. Yeah, what exactly were they doing right there? Bringing back geriatric Harrison Ford, where he was sitting down for most of the movie and letting Helena Shaw take over, which earned $383 million worldwide on a $350, 60, 70, 80, $90 million budget. Yeah, but before marketing costs. Oh, that means that it made money, right? Shut up. A Disney source says that movies for Gen Z men are part of an overall strategy across all labels, but no more urgent than any other quadrant. And here's the big takeaway from this very long article that I'm just kind of glancing over. Actually does make sense in this occasion, but Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed as much on a quarterly earnings call this month, saying his film group won't favor existing IPs over original material. The priority, Iger said, is to put out great movies. Geez, you want to get people back into the theaters, huh? What's your strategy? Put out great movies. You also called Thunderbolts a fucking great movie. You thought it was the first indication that Marvel's new strategy of quality over quantity was being manifest with that fucking pile of slop that nobody references anymore. But it's so funny, right? Disney's insistence that it's a great movie is going to end up supplanting and fucking over another company in Sony. Florence Pugh has joined the cast of Spider-Man Brand New Day as Yelena. That is just the perfect example as to why Hollywood has lost the male audience. Whenever you give them something that they want, a fucking Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man is still, for whatever reason, one of those untarnished brands, not just in superheroes, but in film in general. Okay, for as bad as Spider-Man 3 was, it didn't really hinder the first Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was fucking dog shit. Did that deter anybody from being super hype about the new Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man? Not at all whatsoever. What has been Marvel post Endgame's best performer in the box office, and they can't even take credit for it. Oh right, that would be $1.9 billion with No Way Home. Spider-Man is a money maker. And what do you want to do? Stick a chick in it and make it lame and fucking gay. Good job, Disney. You know what's killing you, but you're too stupid to fucking fix it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.